So, what if I told you that right now there's a global celebrity living inside your mind? No, it's not a person, it's an idea. Today, we're going to unpack the really surprising function of consciousness and what that whole celebrity status thing is all about.
I mean, we all walk around being conscious every single day, right? But have you ever really truly stopped to ask why? What is it actually for? It's one of the biggest questions out there. But you know what? The answer might be a lot more practical than you think.
All right, first up, let's frame this problem the right way. We're going to look at this as the consciousness puzzle. You see, instead of getting bogged down in super abstract philosophy, cognitive scientists are asking a much more down-to-earth question. What is the function of consciousness? Like, what's its job description? What does it actually do inside all our mental machinery? And a leading answer comes down to this one key concept: informational access. The big idea is that the main job of consciousness is to take one piece of information, a thought, a sound, a feeling, and make it globally available to your entire brain. It's kind of like putting a super important memo up on the main screen for the whole company to see and act on right now. Now, to really wrap our heads around this, we have to understand that our minds handle information in two totally different ways. This is the core distinction, really: trapped versus free information. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got all this non-conscious information. It's encapsulated, basically locked away in one specialized part of your brain, like the part that keeps you breathing without you thinking about it. It's super rigid. But then on the other side, you have conscious information. This stuff is globally available. It's flexible, it's wide-ranging, and its influence is absolutely massive. It's the difference between a secret note passed in one department and a company-wide all-hands-on-deck announcement. And this brings us to a key scientific term: access consciousness. A piece of information becomes access conscious the second it's freed up from its little specialized box and made available to the rest of the mind. And that availability, that is what lets you flexibly guide your thoughts and your behavior. So, how does this actually happen? What's the mechanism that takes a piece of information from being trapped to being free? Well, for that, welcome to the mind's big stage. One of the leading scientific explanations for this whole process is this really fascinating idea called the global workspace theory. It gives us a pretty cool model for how this all might work. Okay, so it basically works in 3 steps. Just imagine your mind has all these specialized, unconscious workers chugging along in the background. Step 1, competition. They're all fighting for access to this one limited resource, a single spotlight on a huge stage. Step 2, victory. One of them wins. Maybe it's the one that just detected a sudden, loud noise. Step 3, broadcast. The winner's information gets blasted out, broadcast across the entire system. It's got the spotlight. And this broadcast? This is what gives that information what the philosopher Daniel Dennett so perfectly calls cerebral celebrity. Yeah, for a brief moment, that one single piece of information becomes famous inside your head. But what does this fame actually get you? What's the point? Well, becoming a cerebral celebrity is what allows you to then consciously report on that information, to literally say, I heard a loud noise. And crucially, it lets you use that info to flexibly control what you do next. You can investigate it, you can ignore it, you can run. All of a sudden, you've got options. So what's the ultimate payoff here? Why would we evolve this really complex system of competition and celebrity in the first place? Well, it all comes down to one thing: the incredible power of flexibility. You see, there's this fundamental trade-off happening in our minds all the time. On one side, you've got your unconscious automatic processes, like tying your shoes. They're lightning fast, super efficient, but they're fixed, they're rigid. On the other side, you have your conscious, controlled processes. Yeah, they're slow and they take real effort, but their superpower is flexibility. And that is exactly what you need when you're facing a problem you have never, ever seen before. Honestly, you can think of consciousness as your mind's R&D department. It's the division that takes all these different bits of information from all over the brain and deliberately pieces them together into a new, totally custom-built solution for a novel problem. It might be slow, but it's the ultimate innovation tool. Okay, finally, let's zoom out and think about the most profound part of this whole idea. We've talked a lot about what consciousness does, but what if its function is actually what it is? This is the concept of function as identity. This brings us to a really fascinating philosophical fork in the road. Is this whole process of making information globally available just something that consciousness happens to do? Or could it be that this function is, by its very definition, what access consciousness is? Now, if we take that second path, the constitutive view, the implication is, well, it's staggering. It means that the act of broadcasting information across the brain's global workspace isn't just caused by consciousness. That broadcast is consciousness. The function and the phenomenon are actually one and the same thing. Here's one final way to think about it all. If your mind is a massive library with tons of different departments, then consciousness is the interlibrary loan system. It's the one mechanism that can take a vital piece of information from one isolated section and make it available to every other department, allowing the whole system to create a coordinated, intelligent, and flexible response. So, we'll leave you with this to chew on. If your own consciousness is simply a function, the job of making information famous inside your own mind, how does that change the way you experience your world and all the thoughts running through it? Thanks for joining us.